BLT has to be one of my favorite sandwiches. It starts with that crusty bread, the salty, smoky bacon, the tomatoes that are slightly sweet and slightly acidic, and don't forget the crunchy lettuce. With these aromatic herbs, I'm gonna be making a little bit of a paste to oil the bread instead of mayonnaise. My fries are gonna come from real potatoes instead of that stuff frozen that you can find in a bag, and a little bit of these lemons to make a pudding. Aha! It all begins with a little bit of milk, a little bit of gelatin, condensed milk. I'm starting first with my pudding because I need time for it to set up in the fridge. I need a lemon and 1 ripe avocado. I want to press it to make sure it gives. That's a ripe avocado. First, I want to scald half a cup of milk to help the gelatin dissolve smoothly and evenly. On a medium heat, half a cup of milk. Now, I want to bloom a little bit of gelatin, meaning I want it to dissolve a little bit so it won't clump. A little bit of milk here, a couple tablespoons. I'm gonna start with a half a tablespoon of gelatin. So I just want to lightly sprinkle it on top in an even layer. And you can see as it's starting to bloom and absorb, it sort of wrinkles up like that. That is perfect. I'm just gonna set this aside to let some of that gelatin dissolve. Love lemon zest. I wanna get all that zest because that is mucho flavor. Just gonna chop it lightly, not to be too fussy because it's all gonna get ground up in the mixer anyhow. The lemon juice is very important for making sure the avocado doesn't turn brown. The condensed milk is gonna help to thicken this pudding, but also it's gonna help sweeten this pudding. As a little kid, I used to take this on a tablespoon, and that would be my little treat. So we're looking for half a cup. That stuff seriously is addictive. That's for me. Now, the hard exterior flesh of the avocado I do not want, or the seed in the center. Look at the beautiful tender fruit. Such an incredible flavor. And although it's commonly used in savory ingredients, today it's gonna do some sweet duty. My milk is nice and warm. Add that in to help the gelatin dissolve smoothly and evenly. So we're gonna start it slowly. Then I want to crank it up so I can really puree it very smooth. All right, we have an extremely smooth puree. Let's give that a taste. Wow. We have various sizes here. Some for the kids, some for the grown-ups, and some for the avocado gluttons out there, okay? You don't need to pack this thing chock full. One thing you do want to do, though, is knock it down so that it settles. And any big bubbles come out. You get to make noise. I like to make noise. Let's get all the goodies from the bottom. That looks good. These can go into my fridge. They need about an hour to set up. I want to preheat my oven to 350 degrees to get the B part of my BLT cracking away. You ever make a sandwich, you bite into it, and you didn't put any butter or mayo, and it's kind of dry and pasty in your mouth? You need to moisten the bread a little bit to make it light and really refreshing. My bread is going to be getting a little bit of love from this herb paste. I'm looking for equal parts of rosemary and thyme. I just want to pick those in to to my mortar and pestle. A little bit of rosemary. Rosemary can be very overpowering, so be careful with it. I want to add a little bit of salt for abrasion, but also for seasoning. I'm just gonna start bashing away just to break down the hard fibers of that rosemary. I can start adding a little bit of oil. Olive oil for the rich flavor. Now I have this kind of mushy, grassy mixture at the moment. I need to add more oil, but I also want to add a few more flavors in there. I'm gonna start with a little bit of garlic. Olive oil holds the flavors of whatever is suspended in it really, really well. Let's just incorporate all those flavors. When I'm using a stone mortar and pestle, it absorbs less of the moisture than, let's say, a wood or a marble one. I want the oil to stay with my herbs. That aroma. All right, check that out. So it's much more paste-like. But you see there's a fair amount of oil in there to suspend all that flavor. Fries and malt vinegar are a classic combination, so I'm gonna take that recipe and elevate it a little bit. I'm gonna start with some malt vinegar. Okay. A few bay leaves. 1, 2, 3 bay leaves will be good. Pinch of salt. I want flavor, big, bold flavor. I mean, they are fries, so they can use a robust flavor. And start building. I'm gonna puree this garlic fairly fine so that it's texturally indiscernible in the sauce. Excellent. Let's start mixing and mingling. Yet another use for the chef knife. As spoon. My chef knife will go for Halloween this year as a spoon. Shallot. My wife's grandmother was notorious for her French fries. That was the snack she would always make for the kids coming in. This is what my wife tells me. I wasn't around then. So we're gonna honor the French fry and give it a little bit of love with this malt dipping sauce. It's gonna have a very sharp flavor right now with the bay leaves. It's all these savory ingredients, right? But I want to balance and round it all out. So a little bit of sugar. Some of the condiments to help build this meal are coming together really well. Bango. It will really be nothing of a BLT without the B. So bring the B. And I'm not talking about booty. I'm talking about bacon, which will hit your booty. Okay, a little bit of bacon, right? Now you're thinking, what is he doing with this rack and this tray? I put bacon on a pan. I'm gonna show you a good trick that we do in the restaurants when we have to feed a lot of people bacon. It just drips some of the fat through, so you have leaner bacon. We wanna leave single file layers so that they're not touching one another, so that the air can circulate freely, okay? That bacon is gonna fry up nice and crispy. At 350 degrees, it'll take just a few minutes. My avocado BLT is coming together. I gotta get my bacon, baby.